This is the news segment of The Unexplained from TalkRadio. My name is Howard Hughes.
Online, on DAB, and on the TalkRadio app. TalkRadio.
Good friend of this show is Phillip Jackson in Kyoto. I always say that in the Big Brother voice, I'm sorry. In Kyoto, Japan. He's a Brit there, works there, but also writes books about paranormality, ghosts in particular. And he's got a new one out. Phillip, come in, Japan. Can you hear me in Kyoto?
Good morning, Howard. I can hear you. We just had a few technical difficulties, but hopefully you can hear me.
Well, I can hear you loud and clear. Not exactly as if you were in the next room, but close to it. Talk to me about the new book, then. This is Paranormal Kansai, yeah?
Yeah, well, Kansai is an area sort of central west Japan. It covers 7 prefectures, counties: Kyoto, Osaka, Wakayama, Nara, Mie, Hyogo, and Shiga. And basically, with doing the books that I've done before, Hidden Path, just based in Kyoto, there were so many locations coming up for those books that had paranormal stories or folklore stories that I decided to start putting some of those together, which then expanded to the Kansai area.
Okay, now I've looked through the book. I've done a quick scan read. There are some good stories in here. There are the ghostly grabbing hands from a cemetery wall. Talk to me about those.
Yeah. Well, there's a few stories that come up. Actually, with Japanese ghost stories, there's sort of a few sort of kinds of stories that come up again and again, as we've spoken about tunnels in the past. And grabbing hands is something that does come up. There's a tunnel that has grabbing hands, but also the cemetery. It's not far from the Kamigawa River, which runs through the center of Kyoto City. And there's a temple called Saihoji Temple, and behind that there is a cemetery. Now, basically, as you go into the cemetery, there's a pond which over the years has eroded a lot of the gravestones. So it's got a sort of eerie feeling as soon as you step into it. But there is a story that goes with it where if you are going through the cemetery after dark, the ghostly hand of a woman reaches out from one of the wells. A few of the cemeteries have wells where you can get water to clean the gravestones, and it's said that one of the wells near the entrance, if you go past at night time, this ghostly hand reaches out to grab you, and if you're too close, you get caught, and poor victims will be dragged into the watery depths of the well, never to be seen again.
Boy, what about Osaka? There is something that happens on the site of a department store fire, a tragedy that happened, I think, about 50 years or so ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a story which covers about 400 years. It's the Senichimai department store ghost story. But, yeah, 1972, 13th of May, about 10:30 at night, a fire broke out in the department store after it had closed down. But in the building, in the upper floors, there was also nightclubs, and there was one particular very popular nightclub called the Playtown Cabaret Club. And at 10:30 at night, it was packed. So fire broke out. People were trapped inside. They began to panic. 3 people actually died as they were crushed as people were trying to get out. 22 people died from jumping out of the windows, trying to escape. There was lives lost from carbon monoxide poisoning from materials for construction that were used in the building. And also, an emergency escape chute collapsed, killing 20 people. Altogether, 118 people died in the fire.
What a terrible thing.
Yeah. I mean, basically, they didn't get a number until 3 days later, but what made it worse was the fire department confirmed that the fire doors were locked, emergency shutters didn't function, elevators failed to work, building didn't have fire sprinkler. But basically, the building was closed, and a few years later it was reopened as a printemps department store, and that's when the ghostly happenings started to occur. Staff started wearing prayer beads to ward off evil spirits. Another story goes that on a special late-night sale in the gift wrapping counter, a woman's voice was heard shouting, "Fire, fire," and that was heard at 10:30 at night, the time when the fire was supposed to have started. Staff who used to go to a smoker's lounge downstairs would report a heavy feeling on their shoulders. And one story is that the original fire was maybe started by a smoking accident. People in the neighborhood...
So the imprint of that event, as so often happens with these things. Listen, I'm sorry to stop you, but we are we're jam-packed with material tonight. But let's when we get a better connection, let's talk some more about the new book. How do people see it? Are they able to see it here online?
Yeah, if you go to my website, which is hiddenpastkyoto.com, there's information on there. Howard, if I could just add one little point on that story at the end, I'll squeeze it in very, very quickly.
Just got a few seconds,
Connected to that, connected to the Semichimai execution grounds, the number of people killed, 118. When it was execution grounds hundreds of years earlier, the number of executions that took place there was 118.
Wow.
Exactly the same number as people that died in the fire.
Chilling coincidence, or maybe something else. Philip, we'll talk again when we get a better line. Thank you very much. Philip Jackson in Kyoto, Japan. His new book is Paranormal Kansai, and as he said, you can check him out and check his work out on his website. This is The Unexplained. This is the news segment of The Unexplained from Talk Radio. My name is Howard Hughes.
Online, on DAB, and on the Talk Radio app. Talk Radio.